If you know me, I just do things on the fly. You know, hey, I've got all Momi stuff here on the counter and everything, but whatever. And I had Momi go to the store. When I fixed all these doors, before we moved in, I had her get different size screws with the same type of head as that, the same color and everything. And so now I've got to decide which ones I want to use. See, here's 1 3/4 inch, 1 3/4. That's just a little bit bigger thread, 2.5. That must be a 2 inch there. And you see, I think the 1 3/4 ones will work. I thought I had some 1 1/4, but see, I was using these for lots of them. So I just take that out and I don't have to open that up. I just have one little hole in there, and those will still stay in the closed bag. And so that's the one I'm going to use right there. And before I drill that in, I could probably suck that in. It's 1 3/4. I'm going to end up sucking that in a little bit. So I'm going to try to find myself a smaller drill bit than what it is. And I'm going to actually drill that. I can hold that, and I want to make sure that my drill bit doesn't really have to go any longer than that. But if I can make it about the same, I can do that too. Okay? So that's what I'm going to use up there to put that screw in. I'm going to use that drill bit. I'm going to get back up in there. And you see, for me to get it all the way in there further, let's say, I would have to take the hinge back off, flop the hinge back, and then do it. But I think I can get just the tip of that in there. And that's the other thing you gotta be careful of. With these smaller bits, put it in there and make sure it's lined up straight, especially the really small bits. You gotta hold your mouth just right to get it in there. Okay, that's all I'm gonna do for that. I'm just going to use the high impact one because I've got my drill tip bit extension on there. And I'm going to make it, I'm going to tighten it up by hand. There, see? At least I've got the holding power of 3 screws up there instead of the holding power of 2. I could have left the other one in there, but it would have been spinning and it never would have held. So you go the extra mile, you get some extra long screws, and if that screw was spinning right then, I would have to go up to the next screw size. And sometimes I got those longer screws in case I needed to do something at an angle or something like that, or whatever. And you've got to remember, most holding power for your hinges are up at the top. If that screw was loose, can you see if down here towards the bottom, if I had 2 screws tight down there and 1 loose, that's probably really not going to make much difference, because that's never going to make the door sag or anything like that, because your holding power to any door, if you're concerned about it sagging in the future, is going to be up at the top. And because we've got 4 hinges on this door, because it's an 8-foot tall door, as long as those screws are tight, these screws are tight for the 3rd hinge up, it doesn't really matter on the bottom. I could have one tight screw and one tight screw. If the other two have spun out, no biggie, because all the weight is held up there, and all the force of it wants to lean it this way, which then pushes the door in at the bottom. Do you see what I'm saying? And so I think I'm going to be fine the way it is at this point. Since I'm right here, I'm pretty sure that these other screws are tight, because I've checked all these doors before the painters came, and that's always a good thing to do before you paint your doors, repaint your doors or anything like that. You can go back, check that your screws are tight, check that your it's all nice and clean next to the hinges, and all the black stuff has been removed. I even took all these hinge pins out and put grease on every single one of them throughout this house. I mean, that took a lot of time too. And then, even though these hinges are 20 years old, they're not going to spit that black dust out anymore, because they're all nicely lined with grease in there. And I used all-purpose grease, and just put some on. I had to pop each hinge pin out and wrap it with grease, the whole thing, put it back in and all that. And all of my hinges are still clean. There's no black stuff spurting on the doors or the door jamb or anything like that. And then I went around and I checked all the doors to make sure that they were adjusted properly, that they weren't sagging, that they weren't rubbing anywhere. And then see, they painted these in place, but because of that, I ended up taking the door bumpers off. I took all the strike plates off. I took all these strike plates out. I even marked them for what doors they were for, because each one of these has a little paddle in there, and you can adjust those for each one. You take all these out and you just throw them back on all your doors willy-nilly. You're gonna wonder, hey, how come this door's flopping around? How come this door's not closing all the way? How come? And it's going to be because all of these have actually been adjusted. I went around and adjusted all those, made sure they were going all nice before the painters came. Then I took everything out, and then the painters came. That way, when I could put everything back, I did. Now see, that top, I should have adjusted that a little bit better before the painters came, shouldn't I have? And we'll just look at this here. See, if it was me, I would take my hand like that and pull on that and not be too concerned about it flopping around like that. You know what I mean? But I'm thinking I can maybe make it work better. I mean, you could take the spring off, you could pull that whole insert out at the top of the door, you could cut a portion of that spring. I sprayed some WD-40 up in there, some silicone spray, and had those adjusted, but it always seems like the things keep being hard. Okay, so that's why I thought I would take some, so I got some little door bumpers, and they're white, little felt bumpers, and I thought I could put those up there and put them right on the edge of the stop to fill up the void, because I'm gonna see what I can do about lowering these. And let's just see what I can do here to see. So you can't really see that unless I get my other tall ladder out. I don't have a 6-foot ladder anymore. I used to have one. All we got is an 8-foot ladder, so then I got to cart that up here. But I think, well, sheesh, yeah. I think I had it loose enough to where I could just take that. It's on a screw, threads. And see, I just screwed it in a little bit. And before, it was down too low, I think, what was happening. And it was flopping all around, but I don't know how much. See, I thought kind of a fine line on getting these adjusted. They'll actually screw down further than the top edge of the door, you know, the backing plate. See, that makes it a little bit easier, but now see how it kind of flops? I mean, I could probably live with that. But see, I could take up the slop by putting one of the bumpers on there. So that one's not bad. I don't know why she has to, when she closes these doors, she gets up there and I'm in taking a bath or something, and she's pulling these doors closed, and they kind of slam when she's closing it. That's why I'm trying to fix these here. See, that's nice there. But you hear, I mean, it's not much. You know what? I don't think I'm going to put the bumpers up there. I don't think I have to. I think that's just perfect. And I'll show her again how to open and close these doors so she can make it a little bit easier. But well, here for kicks, I told you I put these on. Let's just put these on. I've got a couple bumpers here. It's going to soften. It's going to soften it. See these little felt bumpers? I'm just going to put those up there. I'll put it right behind. Right behind there, like that. Now if those end up not working, I can always take them off. But let's see what happens. See how that softens up the door? And it also takes the little bit of chatter that was out of it because it's not allowing the door to push all the way up against the door jamb. Thereby, the ball is pushed over this way just a little to be more contact on there. I mean, I could adjust those little plates up at the door jamb too, but I don't really want to mess with that. See how much nicer that is? Look at that. Nice and soft. She's going to like that. I thought it was going to take me 3 or 4 hours to do this. That's it. I've got it. So in about the span of, if I wasn't making this video, in the span of, I don't know, 25, 30 minutes, by the time I got all my stuff out and ready, I got her fixed. Well, that's all I got for this time. But I'll be back with more videos.